Mr Assistant President, I wish to take note of the Police Minister's answer to my question on written notice received today. The answer exposes something deeply troubling: law made without understanding the thing it claims to regulate. We are told urgent firearms reforms were needed to deal with so-called belt-fed shotguns, yet not a single example has been produced. No operational intelligence, no seizures, no link to Bondi, nothing. And here is why. While belt-fed shotguns may tickle the fancy of excitable members of the firearms registry, they're a functional oxymoron. Shotguns are short-range firearms that fire a spread of pellets over a large space. Belt-fed shotguns are, by definition, fully automatic weapons designed to create sustainable fields of fire at long ranges, and they must be static. You do not walk around with a belt-fed shotgun, or any, in fact, belt-fed weapon. They would require one person firing and another person managing the belt, so it feeds properly and doesn't jam. To move with a belt-fed firearm of any kind, let alone a belt-fed shotgun, if it actually exists, you would need the equivalent of an African gun bearer following you about, holding up the belt so it would continue to feed, not to mention hefting a crate of ammunition that weighed in excess of 20 kilograms. It is absurd, it is impractical, and it is already outlawed under the Prohibited Weapons Act. Yet this Parliament was told to act as though this computer game device posed an imminent threat. Me and my colleague have numerous firearms experts who consult us, and none could identify a manufacturer, a model, or even a coherent technical description of what this law was supposedly targeting. So when the Minister says New South Wales Police provided the advice, the real question becomes unavoidable. What were they relying on, and why was it never tested against reality? Because when Parliament legislates against imaginary weapons, it doesn't enhance public safety or public confidence. It exposes a system of legislating based on fantasy of people at the firearms registry. It brings the government and the Parliament into total disrepute.
If I would. Thank you, Mr Assistant President. I rise to take note of the Minister's answer to my colleague's written supplementary question as well. What this answer confirms is that this Parliament was asked to legislate against something that cannot be identified, defined or even shown to exist, which is the belt-fed shotgun. We are told the Premier was advised about belt-fed shotguns, a phrase that sounds frightening to all those ill-informed members in this room and the public, until you actually apply a basic understanding of firearms. Because belt-fed firearms are, by definition, fully automatic weapons of war. If such a firearm even existed in New South Wales, it is already prohibited. So there are no loopholes to close, there are no grey areas to clear up, and there was no emergency legislation required. Yet here we are. No manufacturer has been named, no model number has been provided, no import record identified, because no commercially produced or available product exists. No seizure notice produced, no forensic evidence tabled, and critically, no evidence whatsoever that a belt-fed shotgun was used in the Bondi tragedy or is even present in this state. We've consulted firearm experts across disciplines widely. Not one could identify a real-world firearm matching the description in the legislation or the Premier's statement. So it hasn't come from genuine technical analysis. What it's probably come from is the stoners in registry up at Tweed Heads who have had an all-night session on the cones while playing Call of Duty, because that's the only place one exists. In a video game, Mr Assistant President. Belt-fed shotguns are prepubescent dreams created by those who spend too much time on the web. They may exist in video games, but they don't exist in licence owners' safes, not in ranges, not in any evidence before this House. So legislation should be grounded in facts, not fantasy. Evidence, not internet mythology. Reality, not rhetoric. What the police and the registry have done has made the Police Minister and the Premier look ridiculously foolish in the eyes of the public with this advice.